Okay, so my name is Michael Monasterial, and I'm the intern, minister, and under the mentorship of Taylor Stevens at the Unity of the Palm Beaches. This morning I'm going to continue on my series that I've been doing about subjects that we don't like to talk about, or we're not supposed to talk about, but we have to talk about because everybody experiences them every single day. If we're not talking about things that are challenging, then what are we doing here? Today is fear. Fear is the subject. I'm going to tell this in three parts like I do all the time. I'm going to explain fear as I see it in the metaphysical sense. I'm going to give you examples of fear and actual crippling of what it does to you. And then we're going to work our way through a fear exercise. And something that helps me, something I learned, took me a long time to learn, but I think it's very effective. Well, I hope it's effective for you too. And the reason I'm standing back here instead of in the front, which I like to be close to people and say hi and get the energy, I have a quote at the end. I promised my wife I wouldn't have any notes, but I certainly have a quote at the end so that you can, something that really gives me a lot of, it just changes my state of mind, which is part of it, which is part of the exercise. I completely change my state of mind when I read it because it puts me on a higher vibration. So fear that the opposite of faith, the energy, that force within us, which is biologically designed to save us. It's a good thing, right? Like the bear is coming over the hill, or the other village is coming in and people don't like us, and they're coming to knock us over the head and take our stuff and take our women and kill us. I mean, fear is that biological sense. It's a biological mechanism. It triggers your system to get ready for fight or flight, right? That's what fear does. Cortisol and the adrenaline and your digestive system shuts down, and your muscles get full of excitement because they think something dangerous is happening. What they found in the studies over the years is that so many of us nowadays, modern man, as they say, because they've been doing this now about 100 years, modern man, with all the changes and things that are happening, and all the the wars and everything that's so sped up in our lifestyle that was not sped up before, as such, it gives us, we're always in that fight or flight feeling because we don't know what's going to come next, and that creates anxiety, and that creates that sense of you actually fatigue and you break your system down by being in that fight or flight mode all the time. And people have there are so many mental and physical symptoms that come and conditions that happen because of the fear that people digest every single day. And as the world speeds up, the more fear and anxiety because more stuff's coming at you, right? I mean, right now, you can open your phone and you can get bad news from around the world all the time, 24/7. I mean, literally 24/7. If you could stay awake, you could get bad news from so many different places, so many things, so many doomsayers, so much negativity. You'll be depressed, you'll be numb. It's just so much to be afraid of where you're just numb, and then people don't care. And then people deal with it in a lot of ways. They deal with fear and anxiety, they do a lot of things for that. There are a lot of ways to not process it. We get overwhelmed and we just stop processing. So we shut things off, some shut down. Not because people are evil, but people are just can't, they're overwhelmed. We're just overwhelmed. I mean, how much can you be afraid all the time anyway? You just can't. So people stop caring. So you have a whole generation of people that just stop caring. Oh, I know what you said to me, Dad, but it doesn't matter now because the world's coming to an end. My kid's like, oh, it's going to be a revolution in 2 years. Why should I graduate? Who cares? It's pointless. Whatever I care about doesn't happen anyway. So when I was a little kid, I was really, as you can tell, an active kid. So I'm like, you couldn't imagine me with no controls and no maturity at like 3 years old. I was definitely a hand, it took a lot to handle me, let's say. So I'm a little spitfire, I'm a little rocket, right? So I'm shooting around the house doing everything I'm not supposed to do because I'm not supposed to do it. And I remember my mother, as I was preparing this talk, I was thinking to myself, if I think back to those days, all the things my mother told me not to do were in levels of priority. Because you can remember some of them, right? Based on how many times she told you. Because she was just trying to save you, right? And some of the big ones were like, don't play with matches, right? Don't leave the stove on, right? Don't run in traffic, But the fire one, ironically, it doesn't hit you when she says it until you see something. I had a friend who actually, burned his house down. My sister had a kitchen fire, set our kitchen on fire. Not the boiled eggs that got burned in my house. My wife is looking at me. Not like the boiled eggs in my house. This was an actual kitchen fire, like with the fire department in flames. Somebody got 3rd-degree burns from it, from the, what she did. Anyway, the real point of that story is, when something's important, we say it a lot. When something is important and has validity, I've been telling my kids the same thing since they were little kids. And now they go, okay, yeah, and they repeat it back to me. But I know when they repeat it back to me, it's worked. I know that it's in their subconscious so that it actually worked, and that's why I did it. When we talk about like scripture, now I'm a big Bible guy. I'm from a Baptist, evangelical, Catholic background. I grew up with the scripture. If you look at the Bible, Jesus only mentions the devil, the dark one, the evil one, the one we should be afraid of, who's prowling, 3 times, 3 personal references to Satan in the entire gospel. Yet, in the Bible, there are over 620 references to fear not. It says fear not over 600 times. So I'm thinking to myself, that's my mother. That would be my mother. My mother would tell me something, I'm sure 600 times, because I would do the same stupid thing until I got it, until I got big enough, until I got it. She would just tell me again and again and again, because it must be important. That's why she's saying it, because it's important. So why would you get a word from heaven, a word from God, a scripture? However you look at it, metaphysically or physically, literally. If somebody's saying something 600 plus times, it must be important. So we have to acknowledge that this is something that's a human condition that hasn't changed, right? Because a lot of the stuff written thousands of years ago still applies today. You can read some stuff, you can read books 4,000 years old. If the writing is good and the writing is divinely inspired from whatever culture it comes from, it touches you today. So if they were talking about fear in the Greek writings, they were talking about fear in Jesus' time. They were talking about fear because it must be primal, part of our old brain, part of our biology. But as we develop, and we are developing, are we only working on spiritual evolution? How long are we going to let this primal thing stop us? Because look how it's not only hurting us physically, not only keeping us with depression, anxiety, all kinds of ailments, people that have sleeping disorders, people have alcohol abuse or substance abuse because they can't sleep because they're so afraid all the time. They're just tired of being afraid, and I get it. Fear to me is the opposite of faith. It's exactly the opposite. And faith is light, things hoped for, not seen, and fear is the dread of things that are happening. Sometimes real, and you gotta give it, some things are real, and some things not. Some things are things you don't want to happen so badly that you create them. We create the things we're fearful. In fact, fear motivates us to do things opposite and harmful to each other and ourselves. I believe all of sin is really only based in fear and based in selfishness. And the idea is, I'm afraid maybe there's not enough money, so I steal in some way, fraud or whatever. I'm afraid of not getting the love I want, so I cheat. So I have another partner because I'm just not getting enough attention. Whatever you're fearful of, it manifests. You do something, and sin is only missing the mark. And when I say sin, it doesn't mean to condemn anybody. In fact, what Jesus said, in the great prayer, right, the Lord's Prayer, that's what it says. It says forgiveness. Just forgive yourself, forgive others. It's like we condemn ourselves. We're afraid to sin. We're afraid of something that we've already been forgiven of. And once you let go of that idea that one, that fear, you have to deal with fear. And you don't have to deal with the fear of fear. You know, it even makes it harder. That all you have to do is let that go. It's the hardest thing to do when you live by that for so long. So, as I was raised a Catholic, and the Catholics, I don't want to Catholic bash, although it's not just Catholics, it's a lot of religions. A lot of religions keep you in the idea that you cannot be free of doing the wrong thing because you're naturally designed to do evil, right? We're naturally designed to do evil. So you're afraid all the time. You don't want to piss God off. I don't want to piss God off. What bad things can happen? Look what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah when he pissed God off. The fire rained when it happened. I don't want to piss God off. I might get cancer. I mean, this is how we're thinking. That our direct reactions made God angry because he was going to do something bad to us. You're going to get a car accident. You're going to get you're going to get cancer. You're going to get some other disease. We are afraid that we don't want to do something wrong. So people who don't care, basically, sociopaths, I mean, they don't care. They just do whatever they want and then they let the chips fall where they may and they take the consequences or they try to avoid them. But people who care, which most people are, that really care, you want to do the right thing by other people. You want to do the right thing. You don't want, so you live in that fear and that guilt. And to me, honestly, if you could picture a plant at home, your favorite little tree you get. You get this little tree from the store, and it's beautiful, and it's this big, and it's in this little pot. And then how it works in nature, if you water and nurture and give all the nutrients it needs, that plant will grow, but it will not grow past the size of that pot. And to me, that's what fear is. You will not emotionally develop if fear is strangling you and keeping you in that box. You can't love others. You can't accept and give love the way you want to because fear of who they are. They're out to get me, right? They're not like me. They're going to take what I have. They're going to take our jobs, right? Isn't that the environment now? They're going to take our jobs. They're going to take our freedoms. They're going to take our position, right? They're going to take something from us, and that fear strangles everyone till we all are constrained in that little pot, and we cannot grow spiritually because that's the goal. We all want to get into our spiritual evolution and become the human being we were born to be. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of being here. We're only here to manifest God so that we can share with others, we can share our faith and our hope and our light and grow to what we were supposed to be in the first place. So having said all that, my precursor, my warm-up speech, and the reason I put this in a metaphysical light, because I always look at the scripture in a metaphysical light, because, listen, I'm not here to tell you, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Hey, don't be fearful. You better not be fearful. What are you fearful of? Well, stop doing it. It's ridiculous. In fact, that's giving whatever you're afraid of power, isn't it? And that's not how this system works. The unity movement, and why it is so beautiful, because it offers you a solution to so many problems. It's called practical Christianity for a reason. You can apply it in every single one of your life. In every single challenge that you face, you can apply unity principle. We have to replace the fear with something else. And I think people have a hard time with that. They say, hey, I'm in this situation. Can't you see the sky is falling? Can't you see, oh, my taxes? Can't you see my marriage is falling apart? Can't you see I'm unemployed? Can't you see that? Yes, I can see that. But you don't have to see that. Because that's not all you are. You are not a sum of your problems. You are not a sum of the things working against you. Right? You're not a product of the world around you. You're the essence of God within you. You have every answer that you need. Every solution that you need. Every self-healing possibility is already within you. And all you have to do is stop and listen and get quiet. And I'm not giving you pie in the sky. In fact, let's just do an example. I have an example I will give you. A practical example of dealing with fear. So everybody right now, I want everybody in the room just to close your eyes for a second. Just close them. Just close them. Trust me, it's going to work. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Okay, so I want you to say you're in your bedroom now. and you're standing in front of your window, whatever the window doors, whatever window is, even if it's not your bedroom, even if it's the biggest window in your house, but you have these blackout curtains. And so these blackout curtains, you know it's daytime outside, but with these blackout curtains, you can't see them. You're literally in the dark in your house, a very familiar room, so you're very safe. You're in a safe, contained place, but you can't see out because you're looking at these blackout curtains. Vision, these blackout drapes, whatever style you have in your house, but you can't see anyway. Now I want you to look. Picture, do you remember the old days? On one of these slideshows, we used to have slides, we project them on screens or something. Time? And they had these little screens, and they would have all of these, your slideshows when you were kids, what have you. They'd be a little box on the wall, and you put it on a screen, and you would see all the things, your family pictures, all your history. I want you to see every single thing in this world that you're afraid of. Start at the top. Start at the politics. Start at your insecurities in your relationship. Start in your personal insecurities. Look at your finances. Look at them. Look at really all of those things that are oppressing you. Even pick one thing that scares the you know what out of you. You know, I could say I'm always in a sense of financial insecurity because of my business. Sometimes it's feast or famine. And when it's good, I want it to stay good. And when it's bad, I want it to get good. But it's always that anxiety, even though I make pretty good money. I mean, I do pretty well financially. But it's the fear of it that came when I was a little child that developed. So I always see a financial insecurity when I look at the world. I look at the world through that. Now see that thing you're afraid of. That thing that democracy's ending. Whatever your worst fear is, and be honest. See that thing if it comes to a face. Then I want you to imagine yourself pulling those drapes and just pull them back. You're still looking at the world, but now you're looking at the outside. It's a beautiful day, and the sun is shining, and it's a garden. It's your favorite garden with all your favorite plants. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's a mountainscape. Maybe it's the woods. I don't know what your happy place is. Whatever your happy place is, I want you to see that, really see it. Because the only difference between that happy place and that curtain with all that fear is a veil. The point is to replace the vision that you're seeing, the fearful thing, with the love and the sense of consciousness. Because you are made in the beautiful, perfect image of God. You're not born to be fearful. You were not born to be poor. You were not born to be ill. We are designed for perfection. We are designed for perfection. I'm going to say that again. We are designed for perfection, which means that all the things we're fearful of, the scripture is, greater is he that is in me than is in the world. For whom shall I fear? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. All of that is old school Bible, but in the essence, the metaphysical sense, it's true. What bad thing can happen to you if you're in the right place? People get the prognosis of terrible diseases, but when the people that stay positive, people have been known to not have it anymore. They go back 6 months later and they just don't have it. Because whatever it is in them, however they accept what they accept as things to be afraid of, or what they accept as joy and love and the power of that, that's what heals them. Because we are spiritual beings. I'm going to end with this quote because I try to keep it into everything into an organized message. But this is exactly what I'm saying. This is by Nelson Mandela. He says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people around you won't feel insecure. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So accept that and take that in and shine. Don't hide in the darkness, shine. Be the light of the world. Hear now the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And for this reason I was brought into the world. Thank you so much. So be it. Have a wonderful day.